Tell me, how does the IRS contact people when they want to get in touch with them?
Well, the IRS is a very old-fashioned agency. If the agency needs to get a hold of you, you're going to get a letter in the mail, and it
Okay.
explains why they're inquiring to you. They're explain the situation and gives you an opportunity to challenge it. I've received one of these letters as an IRS employee, and
Okay.
explains the situation. But yeah, it's very old school. It's a letter in the mail.
Wow. Okay. So does the IRS, outside of sending letters in the mail, do they ever contact people via text or phone calls or emails?
So yeah, so there are some rare occurrences where you will be contacted by phone from someone at the IRS, but almost every single time you would have received a letter first. For
Got it.
instance, let's say you received an audit letter and you were corresponding with that auditor and they may be following up with you, you can get a phone call. That's why we don't like to use the word never. Um, for also, let's say you're somebody who is working with a revenue officer regarding delinquent taxes or a tax payment plan. Likewise, after that initial letter, you know who this person is. It's anybody that calls or texts out of the blue. That's the scam. You do not want to engage with them. That's a fraud.
Got it. Okay. So if I have this right, the very first communication is going to be a letter through the mail. And then if you have an open case that you're working with the IRS on, you're going to know the person you're working with. And then in that instance, that person might call you, um, returning your call or call you about the open case that you have with the IRS.
Absolutely. You explained it very well. And the only other exception I could really think of as a special agent, I sometimes contact people as part of a criminal case.
Okay.
I may call someone up if I haven't been able to get in touch with them by a letter or showing up at their doorstep. But the key there is I'm asking to set up a time to meet with them. I'm not demanding money over the phone. I'm not asking for payment of taxes. There
Got
might
it.
be a time, like I said, a special agent may contact you to regarding a criminal case, but those are very rare.
Okay.
99+% of the time, contact with the IRS is going to be initiated with a letter.
Got it. Okay. So you brought up demanding money, which is usually payment of delinquent taxes and penalties and interest. So would the IRS ever call you to demand payment of taxes?
No, and that's the telltale sign of the IRS impersonation scam. It's been going on since 2013, and the
Wow.
the key characteristics of it is they want immediate payment and they're telling you how to pay. It's high pressure, and then they
Okay.
couple it with scare tactics. They threaten to deport you. They threaten to arrest you. They may threaten a lawsuit. And even if you're brave enough to hang up, and that's what we want people to do, is just do not engage. There
Right.
are instances where a second phone call will come to your house and they'll claim to be from the Phoenix Police Department or Maricopa County Sheriffs. And they've told people, we just received the arrest warrant from the IRS. Here's
Oh,
your last
wow.
chance before we come over. And the caller ID may be spoofed, may make it look like it actually is coming from Phoenix Police Department. You just got to hang
Wow.
up on these people. Now, here's the
Wow.
good thing, Joyce.
Yes.
I recently did a presentation to a group in a senior community in Tucson, and I just asked for a show of hands. How many of you have received this call? And the good thing is 60 or 70% of the hands went up. So we are
Okay.
drying up the pool of potential victims by just letting people know, just kind of like the way we're doing right now, letting them know that the IRS is not going to call and demand money.
Got it. Okay. Wow. I didn't realize about the whole second phone call saying that you're from the police or the sheriff's office and we have your arrest warrant from the IRS. That would be even scarier, to make you believe that something bad was going to happen. I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me. I think it's a wealth of information, and I'd love to have another conversation with you soon about some other topics that with the IRS that might affect people as well.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. There's an endless supply of scams out there,
Yeah.
and the best way to stop them is basically to educate people and warn them. And then if, let's say you were someone who got one of these calls, I always recommend to tell your family and friends you received a call, so
Yep.
that way you can spread that knowledge.
Exactly. That's what we do in our presentations is we tell the attendees, you need to talk about this with your friends and family because there's a really good chance you were contacted. Probably your friends and family are most likely going to get contacted soon as well regarding the same thing. So the more that we can just share information we can share and help keep everybody educated is great. It's awesome. So thank you again, Brian. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Great. Thank you, Joyce.